Okay, I came to this beach because I kind of like this beach. It's a pretty cool beach. The reason I like this beach is because it's where the waves break real close to the shore. Maybe I can show you a little bit when I get a little bit closer, but it's always been a fun beach to go out and boogie board on and body surf and all that stuff. But anyway, it's been a while since I've made a video, probably almost a month. Sorry about that. I was away for a while and just couldn't make any videos. Had other things going on in my life. Kind of life took over for a little bit. But I'm coming back, making more videos, and I might change up the topic a little bit. And the reason I might change up the topic a little bit is because I'm getting sick of Donald Trump. I mean, the guy's just basically an asshole. And it's almost kind of depressing making videos about it. I mean, he just makes a bigger ass out of himself every day, so who cares about this guy? And I mean, I think too many people focus on thinking politicians are going to change their life anyway, so who fucking cares about these guys? They're just a bunch of fucking idiots that absorb too much of our energies, too much of our time, and too much of what makes life good, which is just not thinking about stuff that's negative. So what I'd like to talk about instead is something I'm passionate about, just like I was passionate about saying negative things about Donald Trump, because I really don't like the guy. But I'm passionate more about stuff like what helps people, what makes people be able to do things in their life. Positive talk, talk about money, making money, and that kind of stuff. I mean, that's what I really enjoy. And I'm a web entrepreneur. You know, I'm not the guy with the 5 Ferraris in his garage and the guy on Hollywood Hills. But I'm a guy that makes money every day with the internet, so I want to talk about that. You know, I do have a little bit of a niche market. Maybe I'll talk about it a little bit, the things I do. It took me a while to figure out the niche market, but I figured it out, and it works. You know, one of the guys I listen to on YouTube quite a bit, because everybody sees this guy because he spends so much money on ads, is a guy by the name of Tai Lopez. I don't know Tai Lopez very well, but I know people that know him, and actually, you know, he has parties up in the Hollywood Hills. He really does have a house up there in Hollywood Hills, and he does have parties up there, and actually my daughter got invited to one of his parties. She didn't show up, but some of her friends did, and she knows some of the people that knows him, just like I know some of the people that know him. And he is a legitimate guy. He's a legitimate guy. I mean, I think that I think a lot of the stuff that he talks about probably isn't 100% true, but I mean, not everything everybody says is 100% true, so I think he says some good stuff. I listen to the guy, I think he says some good stuff. He has this video out, and I'd like to talk about it just a little bit. But he talks about how you can get 4 people to give you $2,000 a month, which is 10,000 or 8,000, whatever it is, which would be 6 figures. Or you could get 8 people to give you $1,000 a month, which would be a 6-figure income. And all you need to do is go out and talk to people that own businesses, because individuals are going to give you that kind of a money, but a business may, because businesses are in business to make money. They have more disposable money to work with, and then it's deductible for the business. So businesses will give you money where individuals may not, which is true. That's 100% accurate. And when you listen to that kind of stuff, he makes sense, and that's why you continue to listen to the guy. But he doesn't tell you how you're going to find those 8 people or 4 people that are going to pay that money, because when you talk to businesses, it's every bit as hard as to talk to individuals. In fact, sometimes it's a lot harder, because businesses are being hit every day with people that ask them for money, or people that are trying to sell them something. So hitting a business isn't always a great way to make money, and it is something that takes a lot of time and energy. A lot of time and energy. It's not like you just go out and find 4 people to give you $2,000 a month. That's not the way it works. And that's the part of what he says that I'm a little bit not in agreement with. Even though, like I say, I like the guy. He seems like a nice guy. He has a lot of good people on his channel. He's talked to a lot of very impressive people. So the guy definitely gets around. But as far as making money on the internet, you have to be able to sell yourself in a way that people aren't shutting you down before you even get a few words out of your mouth. And that's the trick. And the only way to do that is to find a niche market. And the only way to find a niche market is to go out and start trying to do it with some product or some service, and do it by trial and error. And that's where the process takes. That's what the process is. That's how it works. But you got to go out there and you got to find your niche. You got to find out the things people are needing and working that really need help on. And that's what you need to find out. Yeah, I don't think he tells you ever how to do that, because that's not something that you just develop. It's like getting the 20-inch bicep. You don't get a 20-inch bicep by going and doing a few curls. You don't get a 20-inch bicep by going and watching a few bodybuilding videos. You're going to have to go out and really work at it. So that's what it is. I mean, everything's work and everything takes time. But the venue is the venue that works. The venue is the venue of the internet. That is what works. Everything on the internet works. Everything on the internet works. But you just have to be able to hold on long enough. You have to be able to develop a niche. And that's how you end up making money on the internet. I've made money several ways on the internet. The first way I made money on the internet is developing a product. And I'll tell you what the product was. The product was roller shoes. I sold roller shoes for almost 10 years on the internet. And it was a great, great product. And I had some really, really super good years. I didn't have Tai Lopez kind of years, but I had really good years. But the problem with the roller shoe business was that the product wasn't very good. And as the product, when people ordered the product, and the product, they got it out of the box, the kids put the roller shoes on, the roller shoe broke pretty quickly, and I never got repeat business. I never got anybody to reorder roller shoes. Nobody reordered them. So even though I had 20 or 30,000 customers that made a one-time purchase with me, of which I still have the database, nobody ever reordered from me. So that was a bad business, even though it did make money. And there were years it was very good, but it was a bad, bad business because it wasn't something sustainable. It wasn't something that just kept going. I mean, if every person that ever bought a pair of roller shoes from me would continue to buy roller shoes from me, I would have never had to work again. Because like I say, I had 20, 30,000 customers, including Bill Gates. Bill Gates bought a pair of roller shoes one time from me for his daughter. So, yeah, that wasn't the best business on the internet, even though it was a product. It was easy. I didn't have to go out and do any marketing. I didn't even have to call anybody up. Everybody called me. All I did is put a website up with a shopping cart. It was a great business, and I tried to keep that business going. I knew the roller shoe business wasn't going to go on forever. So I tried to find other products, and I could never find another product that sold like the roller shoes. I had these circus bikes, I had the Razor scooters, I had everything, but nothing ever sold like the roller shoe did. The roller shoe sold all the time, and it really sold during Christmas, but nothing else sold that well. So that wasn't the best way to make a product, the best way to make it. And I'll tell you how I got the product. I got the product from China. And I had it shipped over here in containers. That was kind of a little bit tricky too, because during the years where you really needed the containers, they wouldn't ship them to you because it was Christmas, and people with the big money were able to pay for the shipments, and I couldn't. I didn't have the kind of money to order big enough shipments to where I'd get a container right on Christmas or close to Christmas when I really needed it. So all during the month of December, I couldn't get a container, when I really needed it. But my container would come in like January 5th, and I'd get some excuse how the ship got delayed, or there was an accident in the harbor, all kinds of weird stuff. So, I just really wasn't a big enough player to stay, to have the kind of volume that it took to really, to really do good business. But that business evolved into other businesses, and the other business is businesses that I do on the internet. And I'm going to talk a lot about those businesses, because they do work pretty well, and they will make you financially independent. I don't know if they're going to ever make you money like Tai Lopez makes, or they're ever going to make you money like, some other people that talk about it. But that's not what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about, the 6 Ferraris in your garage. I don't want to talk about the house in Hollywood Hills. I don't want to talk about all that stuff, because that's not realistic. Most of that stuff isn't realistic. I want to talk about a way just to be financially independent and not have to worry about, where you're going to live, or how much money you're going to make, or, how you're going to put your kids through college. That's what I want to talk about. I just want to talk about how to be financially independent, how to do something that just makes sense well enough that you can make a good enough living that you can live comfortably. That's all I want to talk about. I can show you how to do that. I can show you how to do that. One of the things I would highly recommend anybody to do is learn WordPress. And the reason I would have you learn WordPress, and WordPress really isn't very difficult to learn, is that WordPress gives you an opportunity to build things on the internet. WordPress is a platform, basically 4 languages. It's HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and PHP. Database driven, which means it's a smart site. When you ask the site, it's something that gives you back an answer from a database, which is what you really need. It doesn't take very long to learn it. Once you learn it, it really helps you to build stuff on the internet. Once you can build stuff on the internet, then you can do about anything you want to do. You can come up with any idea you want to come up with. And that's what we're doing. I mean, I've come up with applications. In fact, I've got one coming out right now. It's called the efamousapp.com. I'm coming out with another product called Cali Pump, which is a nutritional supplement, or actually it's more of a pre-workout kind of product. I do websites. I build websites for people in the auto industry. I've done websites for about every kind of company there is, but I do have a niche in the auto industry. And that's what I do. And I build this stuff. I work on this stuff. I'm not the only one that does it. I have people help me out. People that do this stuff can work for you around the world. You don't have to hire somebody in your area or your neighborhood, or somebody that, oh cool, somebody over here is getting married. That's pretty cool. Down here on the beach. Oh, they're actually getting pictures taken. Looks like she's in a wedding dress down on the beach. I'm gonna see if I can walk by them real quick. That's pretty cool. So anyway, that's what I'd like to focus on. I'd like to focus on ways to make money on the internet, because that honestly is probably your best source of income, or source. What there? That's pretty cool. She's got a wedding dress on. So because traditional ways of making business, and I've done those too. I owned a restaurant. Worst fucking business in the world is a restaurant. Worst fucking business in the world. You think you're gonna own a restaurant? Think again, because the margins are low, the competition is great, the major names suck up all the market, and they have distribution, they have everything set up, and there's just no way to compete against it. The margins are just low. I had a pizza place, absolutely the worst fucking business in the world. I was a farmer for a long time. I was a farmer for 10 years, worst business in the world. I've been in the 2 worst businesses in the world. Farming and restaurant business. Those are the 2 worst businesses in the world. You can't find worse businesses than farming. Labor intensive, tremendous overhead costs. Every time you earn a buck, the first thing you do is just spend it on something you need. If you're farming and you get a little bit of money, what do? You buy a tractor, you buy a truck, you buy some sort of piece of equipment, and then you end up hawking to the bank because you owe them for that piece of equipment. And then you end up turning around and selling your product, which is your crop, for basically nothing, because there's no way, the demand for it is not that great, because the supply is so tremendous. Everybody's growing corn. There's hardly, there's a lot of demand for corn, but there's not much margin in corn. There's not much profit in corn, because on a good year, the prices go down. On a bad year, the costs go up, so you just never seem to make any money at it. The restaurant business is the same way. You spend a lot of money on rents. If you get in a good location, got to get in a good location to go to a restaurant. Got to spend a lot of money on rent, and they just eat into your profit when you're spending. I remember reading Sam Walton's book about paying for locations. He said never pay more than 5% of your gross on a location. I was paying 25%, and I was wondering why I couldn't make it. I was paying 25% because I'm in Southern California, and rents are expensive. There's just no way to rent a location, a good location out here, without spending an incredible amount of money. And if you do that, you just can't make any money. The reason I like the internet, the reason I've been on the internet for the past 17 years, is because the margins. You develop a website, you can develop a website for a little bit of nothing, if you know what you're doing. If you learn just a little bit, you can do it, and you're working on it yourself. And if you know anything about marketing on the internet, you can drive business to it. I really think the future of marketing on the internet, that's why I'm coming out with this efamousapp.com, is to find people that have audiences. And especially somebody like a YouTuber, big YouTuber will get millions of views for a video, and that person is being watched by a lot of people. If you can get that person to push a product for you, or that person, match a person up with a product that has a following, man, that's such an easy way to market. Because generally these people are making money from AdSense on their YouTube videos. But that doesn't mean they can't drop a name. They can't drop a little bit of information about a product. And that's the way I'm gonna advertise Cali Pop. I'm gonna give it to some YouTubers and just ask them to endorse it or talk about it or say something. And the first person I'm gonna ask to do that is my daughter, and she's got 100,000 subscribers. So 100,000 people will see the product Cali Pop. We'll get orders immediately on this product. Build a website, immediately get orders, because I'm let one person talk about it on the YouTube channel. That's the stuff I want to talk about. I want to talk about how you can utilize the internet to be financially independent. Not so you got 6 Ferraris and a house in Hollywood Hills, because that's just going to frustrate you. I mean, I've heard stuff about a guy like Tai Lopez. And what I think about the guy is that he probably isn't as rich as he says he is. Obviously a lot of what he does is to make people think he's wealthy, because if they think he's wealthy and successful, then they will listen to him more, or he'll sell more of his, he's a mentor, he wants to mentor people. He sells more of that kind of a business. That's what the business is in. He's in the information business. He wants to give you information. I think he has a few other businesses, but I think his primary business is just mentoring people, information, talking about business, talking about a little bit of what I'm talking about right now. It's helping people make a living. So, I'm not into that, because there's no way I'll ever be Tai Lopez, and no way I'll ever be, somebody that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, or even tens of millions of dollars. But, I could help you maybe make 100,000, 200,000, maybe a little bit more. And I think that would make a lot of people happy. In fact, it would probably make a lot more people happy than thinking Donald Trump's going to help you like that. So anyway, that's what I kind of like to talk about. If you got any questions, I'd like to hear them. Any suggestions, I'd like to hear them. But that's what it is. That's what it is. I'd like to help people make some money. I'd like to help people start not worrying about how much Social Security they're going to get, or how much they're going to make, from the government when they retire, or something like that. Or people that are retiring that really need to make a second income. That's a lot of people too. A lot of people really search for a way to make a living after they kind of quit making so much money with their job. The other thing is that I want to talk about just being positive. I mean, the one thing I can say about Donald Trump, he seems to be a very positive person, even though he's got a lot of problems. I say he's basically an asshole, but he's always believed in himself and believed in what he does. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say. I've rambled on for over 10 minutes now. Yeah, 18 minutes. Wow, probably be my longest video ever. So 18 minutes of talking about stuff. Hopefully somebody can ask me some questions, or ask me a few things. But anyway, I'll have some more videos on this kind of topic, this kind of stuff, because that's what I'm kind of interested in. And I'd like to do more in that kind of a way, things in that kind of venue. So, anyway, I appreciate you watching, and enjoy the sunset. Thank you.